Last year, in November, we started the first edition, uh, and it coincided with the 33rd World Congress, which had the theme was deepening the cooperative identity. And so the first CD1 looked at cooperatives and cooperative identity in the Asia Pacific region. And we had a series of consultations with members from the Philippines, from the ASEAN cooperative organizations, from South Asia, from the Middle East and North Africa, to get perspectives. And so that issue came out in November 2021. And the whole idea of Co-op Dialogue is to look at issues which are relevant to cooperatives in the Asia Pacific region and get perspectives from members. Again, not just members, but across stakeholders who are interested in cooperative on the particular issues that we are addressing. The second issue of Co-op Dialogue looked at how do we future-proof cooperatives in the Asia Pacific through innovation. So innovation was the theme of the second issue. And each issue has a mix of interviews, which are both audio and video, and articles. They are invited articles about where we ask individuals to write. It covers case studies, practices, etc. And also pre and post the Co-op Dialogue being released, we have a series of events leading up to it. So the whole idea is to see how do you create an interactive engagement dialogue with members to see how we can get views, different views. And the whole idea is also to get views, given the vast geography the Asia Pacific region has, to see how we can get views from across the region. For there is a lot happening in the region. And so getting that perspective in one place. So this November, we are planning to release Co-op Dialogue 3. And the focus is on cooperatives' contribution to climate action. And again, as you're aware, climate change is something very real, which countries are going through. And especially for cooperatives, because a large membership base of cooperatives is dependent on agriculture and allied activities. And these get impacted because of climate change. And so we thought it will be good to hear perspectives about what kind of actions are being taken to mitigate, to adapt, and to respond to climate change. And in fact, last week I think it was on Friday, we had a webinar with youth from across the region. We had youth presenters who are taking initiatives on climate action to speak about it. And we had more than, I think, 80 students from across schools and universities take part in it and ask questions of the speakers. And today we are with you. You all have a very interesting initiative on Weather Protect, the insurance program. And I think insurance is key because farmers need to have some protection in case there is failure. Rather than have nothing, an insurance would provide them a backup and give them more confidence to move forward. I think your program is very interesting. And so we thought we would talk with you today and get your perspective on your program, and also your take on why this program started and how it is progressing and what you see are issues, especially cooperatives are facing in regard to climate change and what actions can be taken. So that's what this interview is. And like Shivali said, we will, in the article, we may not cover the entire interview, but we will cover the highlights, but then have a link so that people who are interested can go and directly watch the video and get the full perspective. And we'll do our best to promote it widely so that this is also we see as an opportunity where people come to hear about innovative programs, and then they reach out to you. And in that way, we see there'll be a scope for cooperation among cooperatives to happen. And it has happened in our previous interviews. For example, the one we did with IFCO for the second edition on innovation. IFCO's come out with nano urea, which is an urea which it's in a bottle. The usage is less, productivity is supposed to be high. And following that, we've had members from the region reach out to IFCO, get into an MOU and see how they can also use nano urea. So we are hoping that from this interview, people will know about what Climes is doing and will have the opportunity to reach out to you, learn what you're doing and see how they can take it forward. So thank you very much for taking the time. And I will hand over the floor to Shivali to ask the questions. And I will step in case I see, I and Simran will step in case we have follow-up questions based on your response to the question. So again, thank you very much. And I'd like to, I don't know whether you want to say a few words before we start with the interview.
Thank you for this, Balu, Sir Balu and Shivali, for the opportunity that Climes have this dialogue tree. And then we are very grateful also for the ICA. Through ICA that we are more into looking back our identity, especially deepening cooperative identity, and it helps us also to cascade this one to our COOP members. That's why the product that we are that I would like to share with you is a product also of ICA on how we can work together in the principle of cooperation among cooperatives, also on especially on the values of solidarity and self-help, no? Self-responsibility. So among that identity, really, that's mold us to continue even though it's pandemic, the creation of this product during the pandemic in 2020. But because of these values and principles that ICA is really reaching to the cooperatives and practice it. And I think this is also an example for this, Sir Balu and Shivali.
Thank you, Mr. Raboy, to agreeing for this interview and giving us your time. I would like to start with our first question. And as Mr. Balu already mentioned that in this issue of COOP dialogue, we are focusing on climate action by cooperatives in the Asia Pacific region. So as you know that the Asia Pacific region itself is very prone to, it's very vulnerable to natural disasters and the effect of climate change. And Philippines is one of the countries which is the most affected. It keeps having various cyclones and typhoons. So how do you see cooperatives in your country mitigating the effects of climate change? Could you briefly tell us about that?
Okay, thank you, Shivali. Cooperative plays a vital role, a very important vital role, because cooperatives are institutions with a lot of members. Access on financials is within the cooperative, and on the side also of our farmers, no, they are also linked with most of them linked with the cooperative. So the things that we are doing here is related to climate action. Is we try to look for solutions from protection to prevention. So that's really the work of how insurance cooperative can support the resiliency of our farmers. You can imagine that in the Philippines, a lot of farmers don't have protection because there are some limitations on the agri insurance, and they don't have any choice at all because that's the way of life, that they have to plant and wait for the harvest and access for funds to the cooperatives. And then later on, if calamities will happen, typhoons, there are average of 22 typhoons in a year, and 4 of that is very devastating, and that will really destroy farms and input and outputs, and of course make some farmers also to think on the succession, that they will tell their children not to go to farming because farming is only a passion. So sometimes there's some disruptions related to food security. So that's that's happening now in the Philippines. So Climes through cooperatives, I think this is the motivations on on creating the product on the Climbs Weather Protect insurance. So this is this is really the beginning on how we can bridge the farmers in terms of protection against climate change.
So if I can ask a question here. So there aren't any government initiatives to offer insurance to farmers to protect their crops or to have some mitigating effort? Because like you said, Philippines is affected by typhoons each year and a series of them. So isn't there any government-related insurance program in place?
There's an in place government insurance. That's the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation. And in fact, there are a lot of insurance program that we offer, but that is a traditional protection of the farmers related to high-valued crops in terms of pests, in terms of not purely in calamities also, but that's a traditional way that it took a lot of time for the compensation. No? And in fact, the premium of this is free by the government. So the government is 100% subsidizing this insurance premium. So therefore, in that case, if you develop a product related to the product in the PCIC insurance, it's no use at all for the private sector because nobody will buy you if you go with that product, no, because it's really free. That's why we come up with another. Aside from that, we come up with another type of insurance which is innovative, and this is not perfect product, but we are starting this one way back in 2011-12 to come up with a parametric insurance, and we call that one before as a natural catastrophic insurance through technology or satellite index insurance. And so far, Balu, there were a lot of initiatives from the private sectors on coming up with innovative insurance products. In fact, there are players before, private insurance companies, non-life, that offers the same. So we try to look into our experience before, why it was not successful, really. And then we have learnings also on how the cooperatives will respond, or maybe how the farmers will respond, especially talking about the loss and compensation, or we call that one as payment of premium and then claims. So those are the things that really have to look into if you have this climate risk insurance in the Philippines.
Mr. Raboy, you mentioned that there are already a few schemes by the government as well as some private players. So I would want to understand if clients have started this program. So is it the first time that the cooperative sector has started such insurance product, or there has been some cases available in the cooperative sector as well?
So far, Climbs only initiated this kind of insurance to support the government, because it's not competing with PCIC, but in fact, we had a meeting last week with PCIC, and we are planning for PCIC to reinsure some of their portfolio to us. So that's really a complementation. The initiative started way back in 2011, where there was a test, a pilot test, a prototype product already, and then it was given to us by our reinsurer and a financing organizations, NGO, and then they told us that we have to sell this one to our cooperatives. So, but it just having only a year of coverage, and after that, lessons learned. First is at the time 12 years ago, the acceptance of parametric, the acceptance of technology-driven or index-based is not yet accepted. But however, there is already a clamor, because at that time we were able to pay also some premiums. And another lessons learned is it should not be a product push. There should be a consultations among stakeholders, especially cooperatives, what coverage, what products that we are going to have, and maybe come up with a pilot project, no, to enhance that product. That's why we call this product as enhanced weather protect insurance, because we are enhancing it from the previous one. We are not saying that it's a failure before. It's just really a test, and it's not right. The time is not good yet, because maybe the Filipinos are not yet accepted the facts of this effect of climate change. They just passive enough at maybe 10 years ago, but right now it's very different. If you can imagine, for the past month alone, there are 3 typhoons already within the month of October, or I think it's October, 2 or 3 typhoons. Imagine that. And then when you talk about damages, the last month is around 3 billion farms, no? The damages, aside from infrastructure, and Nenning also another typhoon. It's a lot also. Even in Cagayan de Oro, the other day, we have also flooding. So what's going on in this world right now? So that's why it's so timely that we initiated this product, the clients enhanced weather protect insurance.
Right. So again, as you already mentioned, and even the website states that it is an innovative solution that uses blockchain technology and smart agriculture features to help build resilience and sustainability among farmers and agripreneurs. So could you explain to us how the product uses blockchain technology and smart agricultural practices, and how the farmers have received it? Are they open to the technology integration and things like these?
Okay, that's a very good question. No? We have a lot of data already available through satellites. There's a lot of satellites already in Earth, outside Earth, and then it's 24 hours live, and they share data already. In fact, there's a lot of scientists that studies about the weather pattern. That's why if you go to Google, you can easily look for Zoom and then look for climate, and then it will give you how these tropical cyclones or typhoons behaves, no, accordingly, and even the patterns of wind speed, the patterns of wind and water. No? So even heat, it can already, the data is already available. The question there is how we can maximize this data right now for our advantage, for our use. So this insurance product, the parametric insurance that we introduce, is very simple. That the scientists, there's a group of scientists already studying the weather pattern. The back tests of this product is around 150 years. On that 150 years, they look into what events or triggers, or what events happens every 5 years, and what this kind of level of water, the rainfall or precipitation in that what level. So it changes through time, but there's really a what we call a data available, and they call that one as a blockchain. No, that they cannot change that, because it's there happening already, and it's put that in a database. So using that technology, using that data, they put that in a what we call a dashboard, and then the scientists studied about that on the specific area in this world, or going here in the Philippines. There are parameters that we can measure the level of rainfall and the kilometer per knots related to wind speed. So there are averages that the data will speak by itself, the credibility. An example for that, like in the Philippines, in Metro Manila, or we call it one NCR, the average rainfall, there's an average rainfall there, let's say an example of 92 millimeter. Now, if it changes higher than that when you talk about rainfall. So it means to say it's more than the average. There are three, our scientists, our partners through Ibiza, calculated it that maybe the 5-year event in excess of that average is devastating. A lot of inundation of water, maybe flooding that can create flooding. And in another excess for that, so they created 3 triggers. The low, more than the average, but it's not, we call that one as 5-year event. We pay 5% or the trigger, or the second is around 10%, or the 10-year event, or the 15-year event, or the 20-year event. So just like the super typhoon that the Haiyan, no, in the Philippines. So those are weather patterns way back years. It's already there in the database. So that's how they mined that data and put that in a dashboard that can be used as a measurement of payment of claims. So that's how this blockchain technology uses, no? And maybe and that's very specific. The wind speed, the rainfall, maybe heat, the overheat of the specific area, just like what happened in Europe, and also in drought. They can determine already the level of less water on the specific regions or area, because it connotes the results of this one to the changes of our climate.
So how does the farmer, the person taking the insurance, how does he or she use the dashboard or the information that you all collect?
Okay. Now, our model, the insurance cooperative, is owned by primary cooperatives. And those primary cooperatives have individual membership. And most of them are farmers. And even though they are not farmers, but that completes the value chain related to farm input, farms related to agriculture, because some of them are getting a loan to buy a vehicle for farm to market road, a farm to market, and some of them also are vegetable sellers because they bought some vegetables from the countryside, and farmers also will plant, and then so our model is very simple. We insure a agri portfolio of the cooperative. An example, if there is a cooperative A that has a agri portfolio of around 5 million pesos, then let's say an example, $1,000, then on that portfolio, that's the farmers, that's the cooperative that will insure. So in case of excess on the average, we call that one as trigger 1, or we color coded the trigger as yellow, orange, and red, just like also a risk management colors. No? So if there is a trigger on that, based on the portfolio that been insured by the cooperative A, then if we will pay to cooperative A, and the cooperative A will look among the member farmers affected by this, and then once they found out that a farmer affected by this, then he will, or the cooperative will give also an assistance to the cooperative, to the farmer, in case of those affected by this, like an example is flood. So that's how we connect that with that value on a, we call that one as a meso level. So cooperative buys insurance based on the portfolio that they would like to insure, so that in case of calamities, then it can respond the insurance within 10 days. Within 10 days, we will pay. After the typhoon or after low pressure, but more than the average of the specific provinces, because we cover with provinces and parameters. So clients will respond right away without asking questions, without asking documents. And then we have memorandum of agreement to our cooperatives. This is unique because even though this is a meso level, we connected with the cooperatives, that the one that insures their agri portfolio, that in case of claim, we should look into how many farmers that they're going to enroll of the $1,000 that they're going to insure. Then after that, if there's payment also, we see to it that 30% will retain to the cooperative and 70% will go to the farmers or agripreneurs. In a form of maybe if there's no, it's not that affected, maybe because there's a trigger already, it triggers, but the cooperatives don't have really damages to their members. But maybe there's damages those who are not their members. Okay, so they can give holiday pay to the farmers, maybe a month not to pay because the proceeds of insurance will be the one to pay, or maybe they will buy urea. You're talking about urea, nano urea, no? Or maybe they will pay fertilizers. We are promoting for through ESG the organic fertilizers, or maybe they will buy also machineries to help the farmers so that they can use. So we look at it always that even though this is a meso level, we have technical people, we have whole operations of clients nationwide that can go to the cooperatives and look that they already downloaded it to the farmers.
So it's more that you enter into an MOU with the cooperative rather than the individual farmers. So
Yes.
the portfolio and the thing is negotiated between the clients and the cooperative. And the premium is also paid by the cooperative, and it's up to them to then see how they want to negotiate with their farmer members. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Balo. And we are using that one, the principle that we are using that one as solidarity. The values that we're using, that is solidarity, equity, and self-help. Responsibility of a cooperative to their members. You are responsible to your members. So you have to take that initiative also, that you have to insure their portfolio. In fact, we are telling the cooperatives in our network of clients that you have to allocate a loan portfolio for agriculture. Because if you stop that, and education still the component there, value is the education. This is not just a financing, the credit that we have to look into the bottom line. There are product winners, but if we neglect this agriculture portfolio, soon to be, all of our agricultural products will be imported. And in case that the countries who exported their products to us, if there are some problems politically, what will be the food there in the Filipinos? That's why there's really a high increase of our products and commodities now, because financing related to agriculture is not that much, and there's a lot of issues and concerns there politically. But in the cooperative, I think it's our time also that we pay this kind of solidarity message to our cooperatives, that let's help the government, and helping the government, encouraging cooperatives to motivate their farmers to plant more, so there will be more food in the table and lower the price.
Exactly. I think because of the war, commodity prices have been going up. So many countries are stopping exports because they think that it's most needed in their country rather than to export. So this whole issue which you raised is becoming very important, to see that there is more domestic production which is able to meet the need rather than relying too much on agriculture. So do you also assist the cooperatives in terms of how should they be assessing their portfolio, and what is the amount of, it looks like understanding what the portfolio is and how much they should insure is itself a big task. It's not, they need to really understand what's happening in their area with their farmers, what they're growing. A lot of factors go in. So is there assistance on that front also that you all provide?
Well, it's really hard selling Balu, no, Sir Balu. In fact, on our first engagement last year, we just launched a pilot cooperatives, 5 that we with our influence, we call it one as very loyal to us, and then we just call them, can you join us to be one of the pilot project cooperatives? Then looking into how much that we're going to pay. You're going to pay around 7.8%, like 1 million, you pay 78,000. But they're not questioning about the 78,000. They are joining because they want to help the farmers, something like that. And then this is a cooperative. This is a principle of cooperation among cooperatives. Okay, let's help. Then of the 5 cooperatives, it goes as far as 14. Then most of the co-ops, the pilot cooperatives, are in that belt on these prone areas of typhoon. So now on our, we are able to pay after a year. Then right now in our second enrollment, because this product, we ensure one policy only, not one policy, one anniversary date, policy date. So it means to say, if you enroll today, it will end by next year. Then no more enrollment anymore. Let's wait another year. So that's how this insurance, because it's not yet as a regular insurance product. So when it expires last September 30, and then our selling period was around 2 months only. So we go with a lot of road shows, 17 road shows nationwide, attended by around 400 cooperatives. And then our battle cry for this is, we want to insure 100,000 farmers. We want to insure 5 billion portfolio that we can show to the government. You know, cooperatives in terms of financing, they are very supportive for 5 billion portfolio. And the result, we have 105 cooperatives. We have 100,000 farmers, but the portfolio is only 300 million. So, but that's still good. That's still be a good start second year. And we don't know by next year if this will escalate, but we are very positive that since we have a good spread right now, before it's only 14 provinces only, and 14 provinces right now, we cover the whole provinces in the Philippines, so it will be spread properly. So in case of claims, so we can really have this insurance proceeds that will go to our cooperatives and to our farmers.
Sorry, Shivali, just one follow-up question and then I'll let you ask.
Sure.
So it's interesting in terms of cooperatives and the members, you seem to have met the target which you were looking for. But then in the portfolio amount, there's quite a variance from 300 million to 5 billion. So what is the reason for this gap or a variance?
One reason is the price, as they said, is expensive, the premium. Second, that's still money. So second is, they look at is that they don't have farmers. We don't have farmers. So our cooperative is only an employees cooperative. So, and then another reason also is not just quite popular really, because it is a revolutionary. And then they, you know, Filipino culture is like what you see is what you get, and wait for next. If that is good, then a lot of co-ops will buy. Maybe if the like we want to see first what's going on, something like that. But we are very persistent on, you have to join because we are a cooperative. That's why it helps a lot on our cooperative identity, and teaching also cooperatives that it is more than the finance that we are looking into. It's really how we can support the government also. In case of all products will be more than what we produce locally. lower than what we consume on what we produce, then there's a balance and where we can get that. So let's continue helping these farmers and motivate them. And insurance is a motivation also of farmers, that it's not a zero, even though it will happen on if there are some typhoons. They cannot go back to it's about the cooperatives will have a problem of delinquency much because insurance can pay to that. But it's really hard selling, Sir Balo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think insurance is, like you said, is hard sell, be it life insurance or motor vehicle insurance. People are not. So I guess at some point, once people, cooperatives, farmers see the utility and the government also sees, maybe down the road they'll mandate that you need to take insurance so that you are able to get certain protection. And even on part of the government, it'll help for they don't then have to be looking at providing some free services or trying to address people who have been affected. So I guess it's a question of time for this to get hold of. Shivali, go ahead.
Yes. Mr. Raboy, since you mentioned that you do not directly deal with the farmers or end users of this product, so while going through the literature, we read that there are some other benefits also associated with this insurance product, which is like climate alerts are given to the farmers and some suggestions are given to the farmers. So how do you monitor that? One, the first question is, are these alerts given to the cooperatives or directly to the farmers? And then how do you ensure that these practices or these alerts, they are being followed by the farmers? Is there a monitoring and evaluation mechanism available? The dashboard that is available, is it also used by the farmers or only by the cooperatives?
Yeah, there's a dashboard that the farmers can monitor and cooperatives also can monitor. There will be given a password so that they can know from day to day, anytime, 24 hours they can access, especially if there are bad climates, or we call it one as some bad weather, and then they can easily check if it triggers or not, if it is more than the average. Then aside from that, in terms of monitoring, we have this smart farming that we included. This is now the unique one, because aside that we have the insurance dashboard that they can monitor in case of triggers or payouts, the smart farming advisories also that can help the farmers in terms of suitability of their crops, related also to climate advisories. And in fact, we are scaling this up, our smart farming application, a smart farming app, to become e-learning resource center for the agri cooperatives and agripreneurs, that they can share their experiences there in the dashboard, and even a chat booth that they can ask questions related to this one. So those are non-insurance programs, but we included this one already because we want connectivity also among our cooperatives, the best practices, how they can share also to increase productivity to the network, to the cooperatives. So it's very unique preposition really.
Right. So this chatbot application or smart farming application that you mentioned, these are used by the farmers as well, so that they can communicate amongst them.
Yes, we have a partner also with that, especially the International Center for Tropical Agriculture. And then we hire also technical people that can explain on their dialects. We'll go to the cooperatives and ask us, give some seminars or training to the farmers. Then are looking into how we can help, no, on the side of the technical, and we can link also the government, especially the ATI, Agricultural Training Institute, how we can work together to support the requirements of our farmers related to technology, technical support. So those are the things that we are into this smart farming application.
Right. So as a follow-up to this, since you also mentioned two of your partnerships so far, we see that there are this product has been launched in partnership with a few of your international partners. So in your opinion, like what benefits have these partnerships brought in to the whole product?
It brought us this synergy on how we can support the farmers, basically. We are very thankful with ICMIF, the International Cooperative Mutual Insurance Federation, because through Sean, the president, and Sabir also, when I attended the ICMIF conference in New Zealand, we asked their support if they can come up members in the federation so that supports the blockchain technology related to climate change triggers, and then they introduced that to us. So it creates an environment where a lot of expertise there. Cooperatives around the world, ICA also help a lot on this, related on how to how to deepen our identity as a cooperative, because cooperation among cooperatives is really an essential for our success. So it can generate more results. So we have also the IBISA, the technology, the fintech, financial technology that give us the data that supports also our dashboard, and the global parametrics. We have also a technical support from the global parametrics and connect us also by reinsurance Hanovere. And at the same time, since there's a smart farming that we want to incorporate on the dashboard, so the ICMIF also connected with another organization, the CIAT, the International Climate, what's the International Center for Tropical Agriculture. So they connect that to us. So scientists and insurance and technology work together, because, as we said, cooperative in action. So that is part also for in our contribution to Co-ops 2030, addressing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And in fact, Sir Balo, thank you for I know you're accepting our invitation with you this coming November 23. We have a conference in Manila in the Philippine International Conference Center, PICC, for the cooperative in action for climate. We call this one as the climate action for cooperatives and education. So we are inviting cooperatives to stand as a leader to promote consciousness, or to promote this climate change, that this is really real. So I'm very thankful for, in fact, this interview, because this is way of lobbying also to our regulators and even to institutions that can support financing support on the premium, because premiums is very high as of now. But if there are philanthropists that can support, especially our farmers, for premium financing, that will be good also. And we know that this battle cry, this is really a big issue on the climate change, but climbs take a stand as a global actor for change and collaborate with their members.
Thank you, Mr. Raboy. So yeah, this was actually my next question to you, that you mentioned that this is CLIMB's contribution to COOP's 2030 agenda. So it is contributing to 6 SDGs that have been mentioned on the website. So could you please explain how this product contributes to each of these? which is no poverty, zero hunger, industry, innovation and infrastructure, responsible consumption and production, climate action, and partnership for the goals.
Okay, we have 7 already. We will include gender equality.
Okay.
So looking into gender, we know that women usually is the pocket of the family, and especially if there's affected, the women is the one that who is the budget officer of the house. So we take good care of that, the decision making. That in the cooperatives we see to it that it will be highlighted also how many farmers and women's, no, especially also like the youth also, because we consider also youth as the next generation. So there will be some programs related on agriculture that youth can attract. No? Then when you talk about partnership for goals, I said that already. There are some specific goals that we want to achieve, and we already achieved this product. It's not perfect, but the partnership that we shared all within the table without conditions, and through Zoom only, we're able to come up of all the stakeholders, as I mentioned already. So we have this very special products that we have, that it's not an ultimate solution, but just a beginning on how we can, how to, as you said, the climate action. No? There should be a program, and part of that program, we are lobbying also. We have an education, the Cooperative College of the Philippines, that there should be, now it talks really on it's that the cooperatives lobbying the government, the CDA, the regulator in the Philippines. In fact, I raised this one during our sectoral meeting in the cooperative with ASIC Vidal and ASIC Lac, that they can come up with disaster fund. The cooperatives can allocate disaster fund so that they can buy insurance related to this, because it still support, no, the damages that may result not only to the farmers, but at the same time in your portfolio as a general when you talk about delinquency. Then responsible consumption and protection. We know that Climbs is also promoting ESG, and the agricultural products, no, is really relates also to especially zero hunger and no poverty, and insurance. Insurance as an insurance is it's helping self-help, no? Self-responsibility. So something to do about when you are protected, you don't go back again to the scratch. You will not go back again to how you started your finances. So protection is likewise promoting also no poverty, because it should be your assets that you earned for so long, it should be protected. And we know once you are protected, then you can feed your family well, even though if we cannot expect, we cannot all of us will have some hazards in life, no? So it should be protected like that. So that's why we are focused on this 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, in fact, we are putting also the youth here, because the co-ops for 2030 addressing United Nations is also our goals with Climbs. We align also this kind of sustainable development goals.
Right. So in addition to agricultural farmers, does this product also caters to the allied fields like fisheries and dairy farmers?
Yes, since this is a parametric, it's not that we will ask what kind of crops or in case in terms of fisheries infrastructures, as long as on that province that's being insured, then if there's an excess of rainfall and wind speed based on its average limit, then the insurance will pay. So we will not ask also pictures, we will not ask any requirements of the cooperatives. We will pay within after 5 days, because we have to settle first what kind of trigger within 5 days. Then after that, we will pay within 10 days the based on triggers, the compensation or the payment of claims. So no issues on what kind of crops, what kinds of portfolio there on the field.
This is actually very interesting. Like while claiming the insurance, you do not have to show any documents or any proof. It is completely based on this triggers by the technology, that the data that is being studied. So this is very interesting and saves a lot of time and hassle also for the users. So, okay, I'll go back to the Magic 5 or your pilot cooperatives that you have partnered with. So these are 5 pilot cooperatives, and I think based in 15 provinces. So could you tell us how did you select these 5 cooperatives or these 15 provinces? And does the beneficiary profile, it covers non-member and non-cooperative farmers as well?
First, when we select these 5 pilot, it's not just really we are selecting, but these are the co-ops that respond outright right away, no? Because we need time. We have very limited time, and then we come up first with a survey of all the 4,000 cooperatives that we have. I think that transacting right now is around 3,000 co-ops. Then they give some feedback, what type of, how much portfolio that we have in in agriculture, how many farmer beneficiaries, what are the size, in case of average loans of the farmer. So those are the surveys, and then later on we ask them again if there will be a pilot project that will come in. Are you interested to join? So the 5 responded on time. In fact, there is also one rural bank at the time, but they beg off the microfinance organization, the banks, no, under BSP. But we focus on, as a cooperative, we focus on cooperatives. So that's how it started, Shivali.
Okay, thank you. So in future, do you think that this program will be expanded to cover the non-cooperative farmers, or you plan to limit it to cooperatives?
Yes. In fact, we go, if possible, through InsurTech. We can put this one in our Climbs InsurTech. We have, because we have also a Climbs app in the iOS and Samsung application. So Play Store, and then they can, if pass up, since we are limited only through cooperatives, but we are registering. We have a partner also registering a brokerage. The Climbs Insurance broker is not yet approved. We are in the process of registering it to Insurance Commission. So once it is approved, then we can cover non-co-ops institutions, and we have some talks already. But since this is a revolutionary product, and I think we should not limit this one to cooperatives only. We should scale this one also to other microfinance organizations, and we have a lot of talks already on microfinance organizations that may possible that they can buy or cover this insurance.
Right. This is interesting to note. So, as a follow-up to this, how has been the interest among cooperatives and also non-cooperative actors for this product so far?
On the side of the cooperative, since the result of the road shows, so there's really a bigger interest now on that they will cover, because from 14 to 105, we already started our onboarding for the second policy this year. So October 1, we just started October 1 up to September 31, the coverage. No? So it's already 105 cooperatives. So our marketing time will be a year also, like waiting if there are some payouts. So we would like to reach as much as, like now is 100,000 farmers. Then our target really is 20 million lives in Climbs. So I hope that it can help, no, to protect our farmers, and maybe reaching around 300,000 farmers to 1 million farmers. We talk also with ADB, Asia Development Bank, ARUF, how they can support the program. We are talking also with PCIC, the government as a conduit. We are talking also with some like the Grameen Philippines, Grameen International, a specific same product but on a different policy, and even Bayer. So those are non-co-ops, but a lot also of interest of this product, and we hope that this will be materialized soon. No? This is a very novel, and this is likewise, since it's new, but it's not insurance alone. It's also a smart farming application that we want to put this one as a resource center for farmers and agripreneurs that can support also share also some of their best practices and even research.
Right. So we come to the last question that I have. So in case our members from other countries, they are interested to know more about this product and maybe adopt it also in their countries. So are you open to helping them replicate this product?
Yes, a very big yes, Shivali. In fact, we are inviting startup cooperative insurance or maybe cooperatives, if their regulations will allow, to take a look also our products. We are open through the principle of cooperation among cooperatives. We can help support our interested organizations to come in the Philippines, and we are very happy to host you and tour you around what we are doing. We are also a recipient of the ILO project before with Preeti, our student that learns a lot on cooperative works in the Philippines. So we are very open for that, Preeti. We are also open to go there to other countries if you want us to explain with you how the dynamics, how it works, how it will start, to our partners. And even our partners, they are very open also on to help, because climate change is not Philippines alone. It's the whole world. It's the Mother Earth that we are taking care of. So let's support each other.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Raboy. I think it was a very useful interaction, and I'm sure our members would be interested in it. Sir, would you have any more questions?
Sure. Just a question, Noel. One is, so it looks like from the looks of it, is it IS Climbs the first insurance company to be having a product like this in the Philippines? That's one. And two is, are there examples of a similar product in other countries on which your product was based?
Yeah, in the Philippines, we are the only one in terms of this parametric insurance. There are private insurance companies that try to have, but this parametric insurance needs a lot of market, especially you need some accounts, bigger accounts, institutional accounts, because it's a meso level. Honestly, it's not just I'm telling them it will not work, but if it is individual, it's very difficult as of now to work this kind of insurance. It should be a group type of insurance. Second is, in other countries, yes, our partner Ibiza, they have also some projects in India. I think they have also projects in Africa, still startup, but I don't know the status right now. And in fact, there's a lot of projects that they're going on, negotiations later on, and then they look the Philippines, our clients' experience as a study. So that's why a lot of pressure is coming to us how we can proceed this product also the next year.
Okay. Again, now let me also extend my grateful thanks to you for taking the time to talk with us. And what you mentioned is very true, that climate change and the impact is going to be there. It's nothing we need to, it's something we need to live with. But how do we ensure that our members don't regress? Many a times what happens is, when there is a flood or a typhoon, members, because there is no backup in the form of insurance or assets, they regress. So they go back, and then you have to start all over again. So I think having a product like this helps them be where they are, and then give the opportunity to move forward rather than regress. So so it's very innovative. It's not an easy task to get in place, but you all are persisting, and I think the results are showing. From 5 as a pilot this year, you already have a good number who have signed on. And I'm sure that through your roadshow, it's still, you said October 31st, there's still 10 days to go. So you'll have more members and more portfolio adding to it. So I'm sure it'll be this year will be better than last, and next will be better than this year. And I'm always, I think Climbs is a very innovative organization. You all are always looking to see how you can do new things in technology, in learning. During the Civil General Assembly, you all signed an agreement with Cooperative College to get into training. And if I'm not mistaken, recently you all signed an agreement with the Asian Institute of Management to again, so I think education is at the center of what you all do. Innovation is there. And you're trying to your best to see how you can support members and cooperatives. So thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. And thank you for being a member of ICA. And we really look forward. And this is what also helps us to promote the ICA and our members, that cooperatives are doing things which benefit members, which are at the forefront of technology and innovation and addressing the real needs of members. So thank you very much for all your work, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today. And we will share widely this interview and the link so that our members know what you all are doing and how they can learn more and see how this can be also adopted by them. So thank you very much for taking the time today.
Yeah, thank you also, Balu, and of course ICA and Shivali, for accepting us to be member of ICA. It is during my time only in 2018 that you're able to accept us. Our privilege to be part of this organization. And in behalf also of our cooperative officers, our chairperson headed by Father Elmo, a very dynamic and very supportive chairperson, and the rest of our board of directors at Climbs, and our top management also listening right now, and also especially our co-op members, because without the members there, we are nothing here. You don't have an insurance or a cooperative insurance Climbs if you don't support us. Thank you very much also.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raboy and everyone. It was a wonderful interaction today, and we will share a copy of this recording and the article with you as it is published. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you also, Sibrin.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.